friends. Hope you're doing well. Today we have strawberry Zivio for our drink of choice. Today I want to talk about my favorite YouTubers. I watch a fair bit of YouTube. Mostly I watch like educational stuff though. I don't watch a lot of entertainment stuff. But I watch a lot of YouTube while I'm editing photos, that's kind of when I have the most free time to kind of just sit and watch stuff. So I'm gonna go through my list of favorite YouTubers, and if you want to drop your favorite YouTubers in the comments, that'd be really cool, because I'm always looking for new people to watch, because I run out of stuff pretty quickly, even though a lot of the people I follow post very regularly. So let's start with kind of the more entertainment based, the more widely available people. The two of them are very popular, the very big ones. That's Team Coco, Conan O'Brien, and Graham Norton. And if you're not familiar, Graham Norton is a British, Scottish, it's a UK, I think he's on the BBC, talk show host, and his show format's really interesting in that he always has like 4 or 5 celebrities, well, not always 4 or 5, it could be like 2 or 3 celebrities on his couch, and they always just tell stories and anecdotes that are just like way more crazy than you normally hear on like a talk show. And so it's great, and there's a lot of clips that are just cut really nice because they're short. Conan O'Brien, his YouTube channel also has some of that, but it feels like more of the clips are a lot longer in scope. You know, like it's like the whole interview with Aziz Ansari, as opposed to like Aziz Ansari tells this one crazy story. Like that's what the title of the video will be, but then it's like half of the interview. So I like the Graham Norton editing because it's just a lot more like to the point, but they're both good, and they both have just like hours and hours and hours of content. So like you're gonna find something that makes you laugh there. And then Conan also has a lot of his old stuff going back like 20 years or whatever. So he has like these old remote segments. 2 of my favorites are when Conan goes to play old-timey baseball, and when Conan asks his staffers' parents how to improve the show. He goes around and he calls the parents, and it's just amazing. So watch those 2. Next on the list, there is it's not really a filmmaking channel, it's more a film enthusiast channel, but it doesn't exist anymore, which makes me sad. It's called Every Frame a Painting, and it was this guy who made these video essays that were like insanely good, and it's kind of a no-face channel where you never see the guy, but he made a good number of videos, and he clearly put a ton of effort into the editing. And the problem with the channel was that because it wasn't really getting ad revenue, and there really wasn't a way to sponsor, monetize, film critique, he was basically just doing it as a labor of love. And this was like, he did the channel kind of before Patreon was very big, and I think if he had just hung on a little longer, and had a Patreon channel, or maybe sold merch, because the channel has millions of views on the videos, I think he could have made a pretty good go of it. But I also know that like merch can be kind of hit or miss. It depends really on your following, like the demographic of your followers. But I think a nice shirt that just has the logo, as long as the logo is like pretty tasteful, like you could get a couple sales on that. But again, he talks about it in his, I don't know if it's his last video or if he wrote a blog post about it, but he was spending like 100 hours per video. Just like, if you watch the videos, you'll very quickly understand, because there's so many like cuts that are from like dozens of videos. And so he was also getting hit with copyright claims all over the place, and spending a lot of time just managing that section of not getting the videos taken taken down. So it's kind of a bummer, but the stuff that he left up is just, it's good. It's great stuff. So next on the list, Van Neistat. If you know, I mean, you can't watch YouTube and not know the name Casey Neistat. Van Neistat is Casey's older brother that taught him how to do filmmaking. And Van and Casey had a show on HBO called The Neistat Brothers back in, I think it came out in 2010. And that TV show is what made me get interested in filmmaking, because they were filming stuff like vlog style with point and shoot cameras, like way before anybody was doing like vlogs. And so it was less of like a daily vlog and more just like nice little cool adventures that they were doing. But they, it had the style. If you watch the Neistat Brothers, you can very clearly see the early stages of how Casey Neistat got where he was. And that's all good and fine. I liked Casey Neistat for a while. I liked him, before he was doing the vlogging, obviously, because I watched the HBO show and I love that. And then he got into the daily vlogs, and I watched those for maybe a year. Maybe not every one, but quite a lot of them. But then it kind of felt like they were getting repetitive, and then he kind of like had that tangent into like app creation where he made the Beam app, and it just kind of felt, I don't know, I just kind of lost, kind of fell off. It wasn't for me at a certain point. And now he kind of like does interstitial vlogs, and I kind of watch those sometimes, but I definitely wouldn't say he's my favorite YouTuber, because a lot of it doesn't feel very authentic anymore. Like, his early stuff feels very authentic, but as he got bigger, it just, either I don't relate to it, which is very possible, or it's just not authentic. And so that's kind of my takeaway on that stuff. He seems like a great guy, though. Anyway, Van kind of continues from the Neistat Brothers HBO show. It's a very similar style where like a lot of stuff is handmade, and his videos are less about like cool influencer doing stuff and more like a grumpy old guy fixing shit. And I fucking love that. And it's got me really inspired to like get some power tools and learn how to fucking work them and learn how to like fix things. Like, because for most of my life, I've been hesitant to fix things. I always feel like if I fix something, I'm worried it's just gonna break again and break worse. Which is kind of like a weird, when you realize like most things in life are not mission critical. If it breaks, like, oh well, you could always go buy another one if it breaks again. Whereas like Van has this style that he learned from an artist in New York called Tom Sachs, which, if you get down the rabbit hole with Van and Casey stuff, you'll hear all about Tom Sachs, who's like a really cool artist. Anyway, his channel's great. It's called The Spirited Man, but I think it's just under the name Van Neistat. Just lots of good stuff. If you haven't been watching, there's a lot of good stuff to watch. It's very chill, very meditative, and it's great. I love it. Like, it's that's probably my favorite YouTube channel right now is Van Neistat's. Second to that, and very similar, is a guy named Bo Miles. He's an Australian guy who like started as kind of like an adventure filmmaker kind of guy, and now he does what he calls backyard adventures, which are like, one is like he kayaks to work, where he normally drives, I think he says like an hour and a half or something like that, maybe it's 45 minutes, to get to his job where he's a professor. And instead he decides he's gonna kayak to work, and it takes him 4 fucking days. And so it's just like insane. He goes down this creek and he has to drag the kayak overland a bunch. And so his videos are more like actual films, because they tend to be 20 to 40 minutes in length, but they're so good. And just like his philosophies on life, and like it's very much a sort of like pro-earth, pro-nature, like green, reusable stuff, like all that stuff, but in a way that feels like authentic and not preachy. And it's just very much like a Mr. Rogers kind of. I mean, maybe not Mr. Rogers. Steve Irwin would be a better, because they're both Australian, but like just his like caring for the earth and like having a sense of wonderment at nature and like things you could see in your own backyard that if you might miss if you don't look around. So his channel is fucking awesome. I love that channel. The problem is, since his films are so much longer, he only puts them out. He only makes 4 or 5 videos a year maybe. But they're very worth it. So definitely check his channel out. So kind of along the same lines of like when I look at like male role models, like people I think like that I want to look up to as like a model for a successful man. Like I think Van Neistat and I think Bo Miles, and there's another one I think which might have less appeal to most of you. His name's Dan John, and he is an old school fitness coach, strength coach kind of guy, and so he's like in his 60s, but he is still like he's a fucking man, and he just has like the most wholesome like podcast thing, and he has like tutorials and like workshops where he like explains workout concepts like in a very simple and easy to understand language. But then he has a podcast where people ask him questions and he gives like the most wholesome like answers that are like actually like, I feel like a lot of like the fitness influencers YouTube are like, you gotta go insane. You get people like David Goggins, who I love David Goggins, but like his videos are like, David, I want to lose weight, and he's like, run till your legs fall off. I'm David Goggins. Stay hard. Whereas Dan John is like, I don't know, maybe eat less and like try these 5 exercises. And it's just like, it's like if your grandpa was like, I mean, I don't know, your grandpa might suck, or it might be awesome. But like, think of like a really awesome grandpa just like giving you fitness advice. That's like actually really good fitness advice too. I'm trying to think of like who he reminds me of. It's like the Bob Ross of fitness, like the guy, and it's just so nice and wholesome. And if you go back to some of his old videos, they had like a end screen, and it was like, drink water, floss your teeth, like get plenty of sleep, live, laugh, love. And you're just like, what the fuck? Okay, that's awesome. So I love him. He's got some books that are great too. If you want, the best book on kettlebell training I've ever read is one of his books. It's called like the Hard Style Kettlebell Challenge. That book has so much information in it. It's so good. Along those lines of just like actual good advice, there's a guy named Thomas DeLauer who gives a lot of good nutritional advice. This guy's more like an influencer kind of guy. But what I really like about his channel, I don't really know his credentials, other than he used to weigh like 100 pounds more than he does, and now he's like a ripped-ass beefcake guy. But he shows his work. Whenever he says something, he like, based on a study, and he shows the studies, and he's like, based on this other study. And, he seems to pick good studies. And he has like a pretty good eye for studies, and if there's something wrong with the study, he'll point that out. So he's really big on like fasting and keto and that diet stuff. So if you're interested in that, check his channel out. There's tons of videos by him. And then on the other side of the coin, there is a guy by the name of Mark Wildman, who I love his channel too, because he is the exercise equipment of Thomas DeLauer. In that, like he focuses more on functional workouts, so like mace swinging, club swinging, kettlebells, that kind of stuff. He has like a lot of body weight stuff, and then he also has like some martial arts stuff, combat. I don't want to call it combat training, but it's like how to use like a staff or a baseball bat for fitness kind of a thing, and it just seems like a good fun time. But what's great is, again, he shows his work. He explains why you would do something, which I feel like a lot of fitness influencers are just like, do these 10 crazy workouts, whereas the Mark Wildman guy is like breaking stuff into small steps, and it's like, these are fundamental human movement patterns. If you can do this well, like, it translates over to other things. Like, and what I really like is stuff is not all like, here's how to get fucking jacked and ripped and sexy. It's like, here's how to have a good life for a long time so that you don't, need assistance as you get older. You can continue to live a good life. And I really like that kind of stuff, especially as I'm getting older. Like, I'm 35 now, and I'm like starting to hit the age where like I have to work to have good mobility. Like, mobility isn't just a given. Like, I can wake up sore, but I can also know that if I do, this set of mobility work, I'll feel better. And if I do it regularly, I feel better. Over the week, I don't get sore as often, and I can move better. And so I've gotten a deeper appreciation for that over the last couple of years. So definitely check his channel out if you're interested in like workout stuff. And last but not least, a guy who was posting kind of regularly but seems to have fallen off a bit. But if you want filmmaker advice specifically, the best channel for it is this guy named Darius Britt. His channel's called D for Darius. And there's just so much amazing content, especially for beginners. And he's kind of funny. He's a good egg. He's funny. He has a couple films that he made, and then he has like behind the scenes features of like how he made the whole thing. And what's great about his channel is, even as he's gotten bigger, he still focuses on like, okay, you're one person, you want to make a film, you don't have any money, how do you do it? And like, that's where the focus lies. And I feel like as other channels get bigger, they're like, you should go, we're gonna test a $4,000 light, and you're like, fuck you, no, we can't afford that. Yeah, I could swing it because like I could write it off my taxes and I'd use it for work, but like, I'm probably not, even me, this is my living, and I'm probably not buying a big $4,000 light like anytime soon. Like, my most expensive light's like $1,500, and I don't even use that for this YouTube channel. Because I keep it downstairs in the garage, ready to go out for jobs. I don't use it as much as I could. Yeah, it's probably not the best investment, but if I can get this YouTube thing going a little more regularly, then maybe I'll bring it upstairs and it'll live up here. Although we already don't have enough space in our apartment, so we're trying to put a treadmill in here too. And it's like, okay, we already have my desk right here, girlfriend's desk over there, the ASMR desk. Like, this is a desk. It doesn't really need to be here. I guess you never see my hands, but like, I would feel weird sitting at just a chair with a tripod, I guess. I feel like I need a desk to put stuff on. Anyway, that's a whole other tangent. But yeah, he's good, funny. He doesn't post as often as he used to. He used to be real regular. I think he might be working on another film or something. Anyway, that's what I got. Those are my favorite YouTubers. Who are your favorite YouTubers? Oh, also, I'll give one other nod to my other channel, which is linked in the description. My other channel is plural. If you want to learn about filmmaking, I'm trying to put together a channel about that, but I'm not super motivated because it's like such an afterthought, because it's like, it's one of those things where like the rewards aren't there yet. Like, the videos aren't getting a ton of views, and it's like effort to make them, and I kind of want to make it good. And so it's like, if you're not going to go full speed, like, it's better to just save the energy and use that energy towards something you already are doing regularly, like this channel. Like, now I'm trying to do custom thumbnails, and trying to backdate some custom thumbnails. And on my other white noise channel, like, that's the channel doing the best, so I should probably focus all the energy on that. But like, anyway, you don't really care about that. That's it. That's what I got for you today. Those are my favorite YouTubers. So, who are your favorite YouTubers? Why do you like them? What do they talk about? Drop some in the comments, because again, I'm always looking for new people, because right now I have 6,500 photos to edit, something fucking insane like that. Like, so for the next week, I'm just gonna be in the computer trying to make some photos happen. I edited like 1,000 today, which is pretty good. But that probably took 4 or 5 hours. So, think about that times 6,000. Like I probably have 30 or 40 hours of editing ahead of me this week. So, I want to hear about your favorite YouTubers. And don't just say me, because I know it's not true. Shut up. Unless it is. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. And if not, well, I hope that turns around for you real soon. And thank you as always for watching. I'll see you next time.